Hello. Sorry for being late. Let me see who is here. I made an announcement. Let's see. How's it going? Bear with me. We had a little glitch. And Marlon, I probably missed a communication. So bear with me. Okay. Stream in if you get the notice. I hope you get it. I'll wait for a few. I'm running late, and I know that it's off schedule a little. I had to do a few things. Oh my, there we are. Okay, it's working. Hello, IG Roller Disco 17. Come on in. If you're watching on a replay, welcome, and thank you. Okay, so let's get straight to the live stream material. And I want to thank you in advance, everyone who's here. All right, so this evening in the retrospective, we have the year 2003. This is episode 39. Now, I didn't expect this episode to be wow. Oh, Karen is here. Welcome, Karen. Thank you. Okay, yes. All right. I didn't expect the connections, the patterns that are showing up. So bear with me as I set up, and we'll jump right into the information. So as you can see, the characters that are on the world stage at the moment, or the American stage, and we're, of course, in the middle of global war. And I remember this time period, this timeline. How about you? All right, so time is not linear. I keep saying that to myself. Time is really not linear. Boy. All right, so weapons of mass destruction became a term that was thrown around a lot. And this was what they needed, a cover story to start a war over in Iraq, which is ancient lands. Everything's been changed around, the names and everything. Hey, Beth, welcome. Thank you for coming, Beth. Sorry for starting late and we have a little technical issues, but we're working it out. And yeah. All right. So we're dealing with this term being thrown around, weapons of mass destruction. And what really is a weapon of mass destruction in terms of, well, we were told that we have this advanced weaponry. We're hearing a little bit about more advanced weaponry. You probably heard about the discombobulator that has been mentioned. The discombobulator. Amazing, isn't it? It feels like we're on a television show timeline. But we're here, people, okay? The weapons of mass destruction that I think they've been really using are bioweapons. How about you? They want us to think that some of this other stuff is what they've been using, but it's really a lot of different weapons. And the bioweapons are definitely something that I suspect. So we're now into a protracted war with the Bush dynasty, I think they were called. So when you think about the bioweapons, like I said, this is the year, again, we're in the year 2003. So this is the year that SARS peaked its head. And when you look at the diagrams or any kind of image of what they tell us is this SARS or COVID or whatever, they use the imagery that you see here. And the imagery is it's not correct. This is artist rendering. Like if you have any artist that wants to draw viruses, it's weird, but it makes for good pictures, is to have all the colors and doesn't it look like the COVID thing that they told us was going on in 2020? A form of this SARS, whatever. And all I could hear is Dr. Fauci. I couldn't stand to see that man's face, and I couldn't stand to hear his voice. And I really hope, I know we're going to circle back around to him. He's probably in a bunker hiding right now. Have you all seen Dr. Fauci? Hey, Juan, welcome. Meet me. Anybody seen Dr. Fauci lately? Because Bill Gates is on the run, by the way. So I'll go to the current timeline that we're in right now, 2026, of course. And because time is not linear, it's amazing. I'm starting to understand it more and more, but it is not linear. And now we see the players in this bio warfare are going to start feeling justice, feeling judgment. And Bill Gates has had to cancel a lot of his talks. He's wanted for crimes against humanity in India and other nation states. That stuff used to sound like conspiracy theory. Oh yeah, he's not allowed in India. He's not allowed in certain parts of Africa. Well, guess what? All the tinfoil is we need more tinfoil. Because at this time, you could look it up on your phone. Just take your phone out right now and look up. They say that Bill Gates is on the run. He is not going to do a lot of his speaking engagements, and he's probably headed for a bunker in Antarctica. That's right. I'm going to talk about every conspiracy theory that I can think of, okay? Bring them all out and put them on the table. Nothing sounds crazy anymore, does it? Nothing sounds crazy. The guru is here. Welcome, the guru. Put on your tinfoil hats, people, because it's about to get bumpy. Okay, so in 2003, with the SARS talk, the school children in Beijing, China, were out of school for about 2 weeks or so. And for children in China, that's a lot of time to be out of school because they're they have a strict educational regimen over there. So think about them being out of school for about 2 weeks because of this SARS. So you look at the children in China and you pray that they will be free by the time these children get to be adults, that they'll be free of the CCP that has been ravaging their land. It's high time that this form of communism, it's dead everywhere. So we are hoping and praying. I would say pray, please. Okay, this is the year now. Okay, we got W in office. Okay, so we got a gangster in office from a gangster cartel. I'll call them a cartel dynasty, the Bushes. And W, he went over, he sent the troops, I guess, we want to say W and all of the crew, the neocons. So they sent, I don't know what kind of weaponry. They went and raided Saddam Hussein's home, I guess, his compound, and they killed his sons. Even a grandson and a bodyguard were killed. Do you remember that when they went in and they got Saddam's sons, Uday and Qusay, remember? And Mustafa. They killed Uday. They unalived Uday and Qusay and Mustafa and another person. So they got Saddam, his children, and then they captured Saddam. And look at how terrible he looked. Remember? My goodness. But isn't it wild to see the grandson, I believe, he's smoking a cigar over there with his old dad. Isn't that something? Boy, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't think either of them are around anymore. So, yeah, that was part of the shock and the awe. And they did a surprise operation, kind of like how they got the Venezuelan guy, the baddie from Venezuela. They went in with a discombobulator. Boy, put all the conspiracy theories in the chatmosphere. Anything I missed, any new conspiracy theories, be free to share. You will not be judged anymore. I think nobody will judge you. Okay, so we are now at the part of this operation of shock and awe that we are now invading an ancient land of Mesopotamia. You can call it Babylonia. What is your name for Iraq? You can say Mesopotamia, Babylonia, Babylon, Assyria. How about that? Try that on. Or Nineveh. These are all names that I think you would be correct if we were doing a game show and we wanted to hear, what do they call the cradle of civilization? That has always been interesting, that this is considered, this area, to be the cradle of civilization. What does that mean exactly when you think about it? And I keep going back and circling back to this Epic of Gilgamesh. So the Epic of Gilgamesh and the ancient antediluvian world, why we are invading an ancient land and looting it. I'm sorry to all of our military, but this was the tea that was spilled, is that we were looting museums. Does anybody believe that we were looting museums? We were looking for something. I say we loosely, but I'm talking about the neocons. They were over in Iraq looting the museums, from what I've been told. Why were they over there? We've been given a cover story that it was about 9/11 and oil and everything, right? Something crazy, and weapons of mass destruction, and they're putting poison in the baby bottles. Whatever they told us, the lies. I think of Condoleezza Rice and Colin Powell and how they lie through their teeth about all of this stuff. And I am now just, wow. My mind is blown at how all of this happened, and it's hard to see the full picture while we're still living it. Now, in retrospect, there are many patterns to study. There are many. Karen, absolutely. Thank you for that. Okay, Karen just said they also say that there's a Stargate over there. Thank you. Yes, a Stargate. So the Stargate is called Ishtar. Remember when, you know what? Bear with me. You know, I have to look stuff up. All right, Ishtar, the movie. Remember that goofy movie called Ishtar? When did that come out? Let me look it up. It had Beatty. Wasn't Beatty in that movie Ishtar? Let me know if you remember. Oh, wow. Okay, I will get to this other part, the movie I wanted. It's talking about Ishtar and the goddess and everything. Okay, so, the movie was out in 1987. and it was an American adventure comedy film. Wow, all of that. And directed by Elaine May, produced by Warren Beatty. So oh wow, I may want to watch this. Did anybody see this movie, Ishtar? I know it was panned by the critics, but just for the sake of circling back and looking at it from a lens that I didn't see it at the time, but it says this opposite co-star is Dustin Hoffman. So Warren Beatty and Dustin Hoffman. The story revolves around Chuck Clark and Lyle Rogers, a duo of talentless American songwriters who travel to a booking in Morocco and this is crazy, and stumble on into a 4-party Cold War standoff. Weird. Okay. I don't know, everybody. I don't know if I would be able to watch that. Is it good? Was it really bad? So Ishtar, yes, there's a Stargate. Yeah, Ishtar means Easter. Fascinating. And we have Easter coming up soon. Hey, Juan, you said correct. Please read the book. Didn't I write that down? Thank you. I got to read it. Thank you. Keep reminding me. Please, Juan, okay? Please. Easter eggs, sacrificial. Oh, yeah, a cult. Yeah, this is a cult that is still, it was panned. Beth says, horrible movie. But you didn't see it yourself? Did you see it? Anybody see Ishtar, the movie? It was 87, so it doesn't coincide with this current timeline. All right, so when we think about Ishtar, the gates of Ishtar, and Inanna is a Sumerian goddess in the ancient Mesopotamian, goddess of war, love, and fertility. We always know the fertility cults are the freak-off cults, okay? When you hear fertility, think of Diddy freak-offs. So she is also associated with political power, fascinating, divine law, sensuality, and procreation. This is why we are seeing what we are seeing now in this weird freak-off cult and vampires that we have running our culture, that we need to have them run to their bunkers like Bill Gates is currently doing. We want him up out of here. Okay, so I will try not to, crash out tonight. All right, so we're looking at that. I wanted us to go back to this timeline. Hey, Corinne, welcome. What do you think about the egg fabricia? Hello. Oh, do you mean the Fabergé eggs? Is that what you mean? The Fabergé eggs, maybe? Because those are fascinating. Fabergé. I've never gone down the rabbit hole. Interesting rabbit hole. Fabergé eggs. I know they have something to do with Russian culture, right? Wasn't that from the Tsars, the Peter the Great, and the Tsars? Let's see. All about the blood. Yeah, these are blood ritual cults, and blood in, blood out. These are gangster cults. So this is their goddess that they worship. This is Inanna, a Sumerian goddess. And I told you what, and then some people will look at this relief and they will also credit her with being, and I know my feminist friends will take issue with this, but what is it, Lilith? The Lilith, because you see the owls at her side. She has little lion cubs and owls. So this was a culture that you look at little cats. That's how they treated lions. They basically, the relief where you see Gilgamesh, or they call him other things, other names, but he's holding a lion just like it's a little kitten. So we're talking about, I don't know if they were human beings, but they were very tall. That's what I'm getting from it. And then they talk about this is the culture that gives us the an Anunnaki. The Anunnaki and all of those guys. This is where we will accept those answers. If you want to talk about the Anunnaki, because I know a lot of people love talking about the Anunnaki. But I'm thinking, okay, the reptilians, you think of David Icke, everybody needs to be made, look, a lot of apologies are owed to David Icke, right? And Alex Jones, and probably yourself included. Lots of apologies owed, because here we are talking about ancient Sumer, ancient Mesopotamia, all of these ancient cultures and cults, religions, and it sounds crazy, but why are we at war over there in the desert, excavating all kinds of artifacts? And it gets pretty tinfoily. I want to talk about some of this stuff a little deeper at another time. We could talk about this because it keeps going back to the Epic of Gilgamesh. And what is this? Because okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to I just bear with me a moment. So the book of Enoch talks about Genesis 6 and what happened. What happened where the genetics of humans were commingled with the genetics of the fallen angels. Because this is what we're talking about. I'm just going to cut right through to the chase and talk about what we're dealing with now and connecting it to this ancient stuff. Because it's not that ancient. This stuff did not happen that long ago, in my opinion, from what I'm starting to realize. And these people are still practicing these things. And they are commingling DNA. That's what this whole thing is about. I'm starting to see it. It's about your DNA. And we were telling people, and we were told in 2020 to protect your DNA at all cost. Do not allow people to stick any jungle juices in your bloodstream or in your muscle or anywhere else. Do not. Because these people are hell-bent to commingle human and fallen angel DNA. And when I say fallen angels, you can interchange the word demon. So in the book of Enoch, where we had the 200 watchers make a pact, make an oath to go outside of their jurisdiction and start having freak-offs with the women, with the human women. So now they're commingled in DNA. And also it could be in the laboratory as well, because we're thinking all of this commingling happened in freak-off sessions at their temples or wherever. Think about Epstein and all the weird shit he was doing down in that island and wherever else, on his Zorro Ranch in New York and wherever. It doesn't matter. I know we get stuck and fixated on a place, but it's not so much the place, it's what they do when they're in these places. Some places are more spiritually charged, of course. So they could be doing this stuff in laboratories just because we're looking at stone reliefs and we're being told that they did everything on these little clay tablets. You know what that does to our thinking? It makes you think that these people are primitive because we're looking at stone reliefs and pottery and all of this stuff, and it looks like they are not advanced in science. This is possibly the most advanced civilization we're looking at right here. ever in the history. So much so that it had to be wiped out for what they were doing with the DNA. They were crossing the lines that were permitted. The Most High Yah does not permit this to happen. This is definitely going to put a civilization on the map to be mud flooded or discombobulated, right? Or anything else, death ray gunned, okay, whatever. So when we look at these creatures in the stone relief that look like reptilians with wings, and they have always a pine cone in their hand, and it's like they're putting the pine cone in your nose or something. But the pine cone, we were told, is the pineal gland. That's what, we see the Catholic staff that the Pope has, and it's a pine cone because this is what they symbolically represent, a human pineal gland. And since we're at it, why not go all the way tinfoil? Because back in 2020, before, I'll say 2017, some 2016, when we started to hear about these practices with the WikiLeaks and everything, and the emails that were coming out, Hillary Clinton and what's that weird guy that looks like the guy from Lincoln Park? What was his name again? Anthony something? Well, they were writing a lot about these kind of things right here. It sounded like mythology. It sounded like they were speaking in codes, of course. But they really do practice these religions. And they were looking for Gilgamesh, right? Weren't they looking for Gilgamesh? I think Hillary Clinton had some weird emails about Gilgamesh. So there's something, like I said, I'll spend more time on this. John Podesta, thank you. Thank you, John Podesta. Yes, that guy, weird. He might be in a bunker now. I haven't heard about him in a while. Chester Bennington, yes, from, lots of... To go back and circle back, I did a lot of these pieces of content on my old channels. I had a channel struck down, and I did all of this stuff that we're talking about in different segments. And some of it is still up on the channel that I'm locked out of it. And then some of it has been lost, which is unfortunate. But we have been down this road, a lot of us, in these studies, ancient Sumer. So we're looking at this culture, this cradle of civilization, and it doesn't look primitive at all to me. But lions factor in to this civilization, which is very fascinating. Now, this is where it gets hokey for me. Bear with me. I'm not trying to be offensive. When I look at this so-called Gate of Ishtar, I think somebody is playing in my face. I really do. This looks like something from a Hollywood set. It gives me Disney vibes. I don't know about you. It's odd to me. I'm sorry to any Persians. I don't mean to be offensive, but this is weird to me. Something about it feels like, what is the word? Besides, they're playing in our face. It feels like even Jeffrey Epstein's temple that was on the top of the hill, it looks really janky. Like I could produce that with a, refrigerator box and some paint. And this here, I could create this right here. You let me get a refrigerator box, a couple of them. I could make this right here, what I'm looking at. It looks fugazi. Yes, it looks very fugazi to me. I don't know. It feels like they're playing with us, people. And in Los Angeles, I used to go to it was a mall that had the malls that are discount, and it was Babylon. LA has a lot of weird stuff around the city. They play around with the Babylon thing. So you'll see these bulls, these winged bulls. You'll see them near the Hollywood uh, Walk of Fame. It's where those big theaters are. You'll see Babylonian things. And this mall that I used to go to, I know I shouldn't have gone, but it was a good, one of those malls that has what is it, factory outlets. And they play around with this stuff. They decorate the mall with these Babylonian looking things and the winged bulls. Why? This Babylonian culture has never gone away. It's just been reconstituted. Hi, Dave Walker. Welcome. Oh, it's so nice to see you, Dave. Juan said it looks like it's made from Legos. Okay, I'm glad it's not just me. Okay, maybe I'm a little bougie when it comes to art and stuff, aesthetics, but this looks really janky, fugazi and everything. I'm sorry, it does. Okay, look at this architecture. Where are my mud flood scholars? Because what are you thinking when you see this right here? Well, there's the relief of Gilgamesh. We're told Gilgamesh. And Gilgamesh has other names. If you look at Gilgamesh in the Egyptian pantheon, it would be, I think it's, who's the Egyptian? Ra, whatever. Then if you look at this stuff and you look at it through the Greek, then Gilgamesh would be Dionysus, the freak-off vampire party king. Gilgamesh, Dionysus. So it's all the same. And we hear that they had the temple. What is it? The Tower of Babylon. Is it a physical tower, or is it a tower of all of mankind coming together and using one language to accomplish ascension without the Most High Yah? What is it? So we see the architecture that's been excavated, and it looks like something happened, a cataclysmic event. The more you look at the ruins of ancient Sumer, Persia, what we call Iraq, Nineveh, all of it. Okay, so this is weird right here. Bear with me. I'm still with you. All right. When we think about the British, if you ever think about the British East India Company, remember learning about the British East India Company when we were learning about history? Why they didn't teach us really what is this British East India? We should have been delving into this more so we can understand the nation states and how they govern, because this is a corporation and they were going in and nation building. Why is it called British East India Company? They're telling us in the name. There's no tinfoil conspiracy here. They have a charter. They have a coat of arms here. The British East India Company. It's like its own nation. And that's what we're waking up to, is that when we hear of the plans of these ghouls, when they go to these global meetings, they are usurping all of the nation's governments. And they're coming together and forming their own super government based on the money and power that they combine. Corporations, people, They don't care about our government. And then they will employ an agent to go out and get all of the corporate leadership to be compromised. Do you see how it all works? It's influence peddling, it's blackmail and compromise, and then they can supersede governments and they can run the world, they think. But it's too late now because we know what they've been doing and they're not going to be able to get away with it anymore. So this British East India Company in 2003, they had to correct something where they gave credit to a man. Now, this is so bizarre. You see the picture of the man. Of course, they're going to have a rendering of a drawing, one of these charcoal drawings or whatever. And a lot of times they'll do the drawing where they had camera technology. Why not take a picture? It's because they make up these stories. And okay, this was an employee of the British East India Company named Job Charnock. He was from London, and they claim that he was the founder of Calcutta, a city in India that now has been renamed. So all the names we grew up learning, and then to have them renamed, it just keeps everything destabilized. And it's on purpose, I believe, in my opinion. So the British East India Company had to correct giving this man credit for finding Calcutta. Ridiculous. I am over it. So they have, if you want to go down the rabbit hole to learn about the British East India Company, I may do a whole thing on the British East India Company because I did not learn correctly in school what it was. But this is some of the architecture, as you can see, in Calcutta. And then the people and the indigenous people of India. It's a whole, what a rabbit hole. So also in this year, we had a man who was born in Germany, right? Or where was he born? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he became the governor of California. And he wasn't born in America. This whole thing was weird at the time. I didn't understand it. The governor, Gray Davis, he seemed to be the governor forever. And he looks like he looks like a creepy guy. I don't know. I think he had some scandals. How could they not, right? So I don't know his whole story, Gray Davis, but they recalled him and this guy slid in. Switzerland. So he was, Arnold Schwarzenegger was born in Switzerland. Okay. So, what are you saying, Beth? What about the Dutch? Oh, I forgot about that. Thank you. The Dutch East India. What's going on with these East India companies? Or were they the what? I don't know, Beth, but I'm gonna look into it. All right, Switzerland. He was born in Switzerland. I know he really turned me off in 2020 when he was pushing the jab and he was trying to tell people they didn't have freedoms and things on Twitter. He was really obnoxious. And his little Nazi thing really slipped. The Nazi mask really slipped, in my opinion. But he has an interesting background. If you looked into his lineage and everything, I think it's kind of interesting. I don't know what's in there, but I don't think he should have been a governor, especially of such an important state. I think you should be born, have to be truly American to be in our politics from here on out. I personally don't like to see all of this foreign presence in American government. I don't like it. I don't care what anyone says or calls me, whatever name. If I went to live in another nation, I wouldn't try to get involved in their politics and their government. I wouldn't do it myself. I would feel that I was being really presumptive. And I think we've given people way too much comfort and they've taken advantage. And I'm tired of it. And I'm really looking forward to the Most High Yah. He's going to do his work, his great work, to send people back to where they belong. Some of them. We can take a certain amount, but you're not going to be in our government. Doggone it. I'm over this. I'm tired of it. Okay, that was my rant. I'll go on. So this is the year that MySpace started. So this is the whole networking, social networking, what we're doing now. This is really the rise of that. And this guy, Tom Anderson, he was your first friend on MySpace. Who was on MySpace? Anybody? You can admit it. I don't know where this guy is now. Who was he? Because I don't believe any of their origin stories. You know the stories, oh, I did it in the garage and I was sleeping on my friend's sofa and I was living in my car and all that stuff. I think this stuff is just, these guys are from elite families that get down, you know, like what we're talking about, the Gilgamesh stuff, the freak offs. I think they are part of they're part of it, okay, the club. I don't think they come out of the spaces that you and I, regular folks, regular schmegulars come from. All right, so this is another thing that happened that was really funny. I don't know. Was it funny? It was interesting. It's funny now. All right, so remember these ladies, the Dixie Chicks? They were cute, right? Juan says, I was on MySpace. What was your name, Juan? Everybody put your MySpace name. Let's see your handle on MySpace. All right, so the Dixie Chicks were over in London, I believe, and they said, one of them, I think Natalie Maynor, was that her name, Natalie? She said on stage in a foreign nation that they were ashamed the president of the United States, George W. Bush, is from Texas. So that wasn't wise. Even if you think this, you don't get over and you're in a foreign country and you're talking about the president like a dog. That's not smart. And now we don't know what happened to the Dixie Chicks. Where are they? It seemed like they disappeared after this. George W. Oh my God. He nuked their career. But it wasn't smart. It just not good business. All right, so this is the year we have 50, Curtis Jackson, and he had the hit In the Club. Now, is Curtis 50 Cent in the club? You know what I'm talking about? Wink, wink, in the club. Do you think he's in the club? Or is he an outsider to the club? Because he seems to be acting like an outsider. He's having fun trolling and exposing Diddy and Jim Jones and who else? The latest stunt with Jim Jones is so funny. If you're not following 50 Cent on Instagram, why not? Because if you want some laughs, oh my goodness. His thing always pops up. Soon as that's 50, of course, right? And it never fails to make me laugh. And he is trolling and destroying all the fake people from the industry. He's getting a bit of revenge, I would think. They did him wrong, and his fellow New Yorkers. So he's having a bit of vindication. But I don't know. Some people might think, oh, he's in the club. This is all just... These are, what do they call them? What is it? I can't think of the name. What, Mason Theater? Is this Masonic Theater we're watching? Let me know. Masonic Secret Society Theater? I don't know, but listen, everybody. This is when the tinfoil needs to come out. How much tinfoil do you have left? Because The timeline is now giving us Epstein. This is the year that Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday celebration. Now, when you look at these pictures now and revisit this Epstein timeline, Les Wexner, who has been given testimony, I think they threatened him when he was on the stand. This is what a world these guys got themselves caught up in. So, you know, Les Wexner is the name behind L Brands. And that would be Victoria's Secrets, all of your stinky bath products from Bath and Body Works, all the stinky bath products from there. This is this guy. What else have I missed? It's Victoria's Secrets, Bath and Body Works. It's what else? It's a lot of other companies. Oh, I think he had the Limited, but that went away in the 80s. That was big when I was in college. The Limited and some other L Brands. Big. This is the guy who financed Jeffrey Epstein. The Limited. Thank you, gosh darn it. Yes, the Limited, all under L Brands and a lot more. And you know, they have the other weirdo that he seemed to get away with it, that he had another store. Remember, they used to have all the young men and they have their shirts off and they're all standing on Fifth Avenue outside the store. What was that store? Abercrombie and Fitch. That weirdo, Abercrombie and Fitch, or Fitch, whatever, what weird. And yeah, Wexner is in deposition now. So Abercrombie, that other weirdo. So these are all weird people. And I think they found in some of the clothing, was it Victoria's Secrets or the other one where they had the tags that were like putting a low jack on your bra? They had like the air tags they were putting in the underwear. Something weird. But at the time, everybody said you were tinfoil if you believed it. But people were cutting stuff out, devices. So these are super ghoulish weirdos that they are so permeated in our society. I really understand why the Most High Yah sent a flood to clean it up. All of these Anunnaki, Gilgamesh people and their weird practices, flood them out, right? But they came back. You know the story. They came back and they reconstituted through Jeffrey Epstein and this ugly girlfriend of his, Ghislaine Maxwell, with her evil, mean girl self. So they were really glazing Jeffrey Epstein. And that Les Wexner, he's a gross guy. What a nasty guy. You see, he drew a pair of breasts on this birthday greeting, Jeff's 50th birthday. These guys are very over-sexualized. As ugly and ghoulish as they are, they have an insatiable appetite for weird, twisted, freak-off type of sex. They are monsters. They are vampires. And even though some of their physical makeup is weird, like the Weinstein, you heard about Weinstein's junk? They said it looked like an egg or something. Oh my God. I need ginger ale. It's so gross. When you hear the detail, I don't want to think about it. I'm not reading any more files. I don't want to know anymore. Okay, so it's so yucky. Okay, but I believe that this is the thing that I was saying. The fallen angel demons, yes, the demons, the demons, they want to have freak-offs with the people. They want to feel, because they've been betwixt and between two realms. So when they were mixed with the human DNA and the angel DNA, and they had these big ass kids that were tearing up everything and eating everything, including the people, eating the dogs, eating the cats, eating everything. And you couldn't keep up with these jokers. They were eating everything up. You couldn't sustain it. And then they had a war with each other, right? The Titans, the War of the Titans. And now it's like, okay, all of this stuff is coming back. So we're sorting it out again in real time. We're looking at we have new scholars on TikTok. TikTok University is now open and in session, and the young ones are putting this all together. They're creating graphs and charts, and oh my God, it's amazing what they're finding and connecting. Okay, so here is an article by Vanity Fair. Okay, they were glazing Jeffrey Epstein. They were calling him the talented Mr. Epstein. This is in 2003, y'all. Vanity Fair. Wait a minute, Vanity Fair. Isn't that the magazine that the widow of Steve Jobs took over? The Atlantic. I'm sorry. I got to bear with me. Correct me if you ever hear me get something wrong. It's not on purpose. My mind is going. I'm trying to remember things. But if I get something wrong, please let me know. Okay, so that's the Atlantic. Okay, I was thinking of Ghislaine's best friend from the Atlantic, that she was allowing articles that were making pedophiles seem like, oh, it's just your regular person. You guys are just too sensitive, right? Remember, it was like some piece to give pedophiles like sympathy in the Atlantic. That woman who owns the Atlantic is Ghislaine's one of her road dogs, one of her buddies. But no, I'm talking about this article that is glazing Jeffrey Epstein, calling him the talented Mr. Epstein. And you see his penthouse or whatever it was in New York City. Lately, Jeffrey Epstein's high-flying style has been drawing oohs and ahs. The Bachelor financier. Do you see how they were spinning these lies about this man? He's a Bachelor financier who lives in New York's largest private residence. How could he afford this? At 50 years old, he was a school teacher, I think, or a cab driver. His story is crazy, but he was financed through Les Wexner. I think Les supposedly sold this largest private residence in New York City to him, okay? So claims to take only billionaires as clients. Interesting. He only takes on billionaires as clients. This sounds so honeypot. And flies celebrities, including, wait for it, Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey on his Boeing 727, which, if you remember the pictures of that plane, that Jeffrey Epstein private jet, icky. Maybe it's me. It looked so gross. It was like brown pleather, crushed, nasty velvet seats that, oh, I could smell it through the pictures. It looked like the plane. It looked like the plane smelled like a musty freak off, yucky. And to have cloth seats on that plane, I can't believe people sat on those seats. I would have put plastic on those seats. Nasty. And Ghislaine was giving him some kind of foot massage. Gross. These people are so disgusting. But that private jet, oh, nothing to beg to be on, Whoopi Goldberg. Can you imagine she wanted to be on that nasty plane? All right, so his Boeing 727, but pierce his air of mystery. Oh, please. And the picture changes. Vicky Ward explores Epstein's investment career. his ties to retail magnate Leslie Wexner and his complicated past. So that's how they were spinning stories about this guy, the talented Mr. Epstein. Interesting. And this is his nasty plane that I can smell through the picture. And this was one of the most disturbing gifts that he received for his 50th birthday. It was a coloring book. Will you look at it? How nasty. What a gross, gross person. Everything that he looks like so gross, like if you were in his presence. He looks like the kind of guy that tells nothing but nasty jokes. Haven't you been around a pervert before? And everything is just sex. They're obsessed with sex. They treat sex like they're like children who are not used to anything. They have no self-discipline. Their mind is darkened with degenerate thoughts. They tell degenerate jokes all the time that aren't funny, that make you feel weird, like you want to go take a bath of bleach. This guy, I've seen plenty of this guy. And they're handsy. You got to fight. Get your hands off of me. Yelk. So this is the Vanity Fair article. They make him sound like this man of mystery. Oh my goodness. Okay, moving on to another ghoul. We have Phil Spector. Do you remember Phil Spector? Oh my goodness. So Phil Spector, a music producer, go figure. A music producer, he murders his girlfriend. I worked with her mother. I used to work with her mother. Her mother really went through it. She had to be at the court all the time. It was so sad to watch. She was such a sweet woman. To have lost her daughter this way, unreal. But that's how much, like, you talk about 6 degrees of separation, right? And you can see she's beautiful. Lena Clarkson. So Phil Spector murdered her allegedly. Am I supposed to say allegedly? Look at this ghoul. What the hell? And I just don't even want to remember the details, but just horrible people. I don't know why people want to be around them and accept anything that they have to offer. They are so degenerate and gross. This is what Phil Spector used to look like when he was young. If you go and hang out with this guy, look at this guy. Really? You don't get stranger danger vibes from this guy? Total creeps. Look at this guy. Oh my, I wouldn't trust my plant around him. But wasn't he married to one of these girls, Ronnie Spector from the Ronettes? Are these the Ronettes? Where are all my musicologists? Are these the Ronettes? I think he was married to one of them back in the days. What, the 60s? Because they have those bouffants. I love the bouffants on these gals. But yeah, guess he liked a little foundational Black American. Okay, so here we are, 2003 timeline. Now this one I need you to really help me with. I didn't expect this. Okay, we have a little girl named Elizabeth Smart, and she was missing for how many months? I think 9 months. Elizabeth Smart. Do you remember this story about this young child? And I'm over everybody called, like, not the people that call children underage women. Can we please stop? Please. These are children. They're not underage women. They're not minors. They are children. And we have to start using the correct terms, children. So this child was taken, and she was taken Salt Lake City, I believe. So it happened in Utah. She played the harp. If you look at her face, she has a very, what they would say, angelic look. She was taken from her bedroom. Wow. What a nightmare. And that stuff happens, people, because we're even hearing about that being alleged to have taken place with Harvey Weinstein and another somebody, and they even put Jay-Z as somebody who was there witnessing all this, a young child being taken from her home, her bedroom, several times and brought to a location to be abused ritualistically. Unreal. So this girl, I didn't read her book. I remember the story, but what sticks out to me is that she plays the harp and she looks very angelic. But she's playing at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This is prior to her being taken. And I think this is prior to. And you see Oprah did some interviews with her. I don't understand this. Did Oprah do the interviews like after this happened or before it happened? Because I'm wondering, is she doing this performance after she got back? I don't know. But it really struck me as being really strange. So the story goes, this couple kidnapped Elizabeth Smart, and they had her dressed like a mixture of what the heck is this? What are we looking at? She has a mask, kind of looks a little bit, what? Were they part of a religion? You recall this? The media and the public blamed Elizabeth they blamed the child? The public was brutal, saying that she probably ran off with a boyfriend. There you are. See, that's horrible. That girl looked like a little angel running off with a boyfriend. Yeah, right. I didn't realize they did that. So they slandered the child. Wow. Horrible. So here she is sitting down with Oprah, which is already problematic. When I saw this, it gave me a different feeling. It's in retrospective, retrospect, that these connections are looking very sinister. So also in 2003, the Human Genome Project was complete. Now, think about all of this stuff happening in this 1 year. The Human Genome Project is complete. What were they doing and why with this Human Genome Project? They said it was almost 99% sequenced human genomes to an accuracy of 99.99%. And we just talked about Mesopotamia, Babylon, the DNA mixing and mingling with angel DNA. And these people are obsessed with DNA. So you can see the Human Genome Project began in 1990, I believe, and was completed by 2003. So mapping the blueprint of human life. And we think about Jeffrey Epstein and how he sat on the science boards or whatever of Harvard and all these different things and their obsession with longevity and beating death and hacking your biology, a la Brian Johnson getting the blood of his son. So you've heard the term a blood boy. Let me write it here. Blood boy. Have you ever heard this term? These people, they recruit either young girls or boys, to give them fresh blood transfusions from human, well, I don't want to call the other people human, but from them, from the young child or young adult, straight into their body. So when they have these parties, they're doing that also. And I was a nurse in Los Angeles, and I've heard more than I even want to know. And I know that people were doing what they call raves in the mountains, and they were doing the blood stuff. So I know this to be true. So a blood boy is usually somebody who doesn't drink or smoke, and if they eat a good diet, especially some steak and everything, that you probably buy their food so they can have a good meal. I'm thinking that would be the best thing, is to feed your blood boy so they can have good rich blood for you. These people are literally vampires. It is not, we're not kidding. People thought we were crazy, right? So now this takes me to Susan Wojcicki and her sisters. Are you ready, people? Because I wasn't ready for this. Now, mind you, what are we talking about? We have all these connections. So in 2003, Susan Wojcicki, she heads up AdSense. That's when AdSense for Google. This is how you get paid if you do videos on YouTube, because Susan Wojcicki, she was over YouTube for a bit, remember? During a lot of that censorship. Very interesting. And then Susan Wojcicki has sisters that have started, look, 23andMe, one of her sisters. Who are these people? The Wojcickis. Her sisters are into interesting things. So you have Susan, but Susan died, by the way. Last year, Susan died, and it was really weird to me. But prior to Susan dying, her son was unalived. She had a son that was attending, I believe, Berkeley. And something happened. This son of hers was taken out. I don't know. It was violence. Let me look it up real quick. Bear with me a moment, because, like I said, this was so crazy to see this all in this year. Okay, Susan. Now, what I thought was weird is Susan and her sisters, they created Barbie dolls in their likeness. Look at the one sister's Barbie doll that says "Lead with Science." So they have these propaganda sloganry on t-shirts for Barbies, for your daughters or sons, because I'm sure they probably had a lot of boys playing with these Barbie dolls, of the Wojcicki sisters. What the heck? Like, what is going on, people? This feels like I just took a cuckoo pill, because I just didn't expect this. When I was preparing this rewind, I was like, wait a minute, what? This is crazy. You can't even make this up. So Susan died last year, 2020. No, before that. She died August 9th, 2024 at 56 years old. She was the former CEO of YouTube, And I used to be mad at that woman because of all the censorship that she was allowing. And she died of lung cancer. And so she was seen as a visionary of Silicon Valley. Let's see. I'm looking up this thing with her son because that was strange. All right. It's not telling me. All right. Here, bear with me a moment. Okay, so his name was, you may remember this story, Marco Trooper, son of former YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki. He succumbed to a combination. Oh, wait a minute. It wasn't violence. I thought he was unalived by somebody. But it says that he was 19 years old. You all know my theory about 19. Something very spiritual about that age. You have to really protect your 19-year-olds. Keep them in prayer and do not take your eyes off of your 19-year-olds. I have a theory. All right, so Marco Troper succumbed to a combination of high amounts of Xanax and cocaine and amphetamine and antihistamine. Also, low levels of THC in his system. So he went to Berkeley. He was found unresponsive in his dorm room, UC Berkeley. Why is this young man using all of these drugs? He's at Berkeley. What is going on, people? These are the people that supposedly have it all together. Look at all these successful women right here. I find it highly weird. Now, this one made me really, I took pause here. I want you to listen really good. This is very strange. In 2003, they had a ritual in New York City. And it was called, one minute, 10,000 people descended on this particular ground in Manhattan, and they had what was called the rites of ancestral return. And this was the reinternment of African American ancestral remains at the African Burial Ground in Manhattan. So the term African American is dead. Okay, it goes into the grave with Jesse Jackson. It has been rejected and it should be removed from every written publication. Anybody who wants to use it, go ahead. But my lineage from America here, we have rejected the term because it is not correct. We are not African Americans. And this is not African burial ground right here. This has to be corrected. This is a deliberate attempt to erase my people here in America by calling us African American and putting on these African garments and having these, I see a symbol, a sigil in this picture. And this sigil that I see looks like voodoo. So these people are mixing all of these various spiritual practices, and they're doing some kind of ritual and rites on American soil, and they're using sigils from Haiti, voodoo, and stuff that comes out of Africa on this ground. God, the Most High Yah, is going to deal with these people, and he is dealing with them. They have been playing in the faces of Americans for too long, because this is horrible. I am so angry at this, because they play around with the terms when black history is unearthed, who gets to speak for the dead? Efforts to rescue African American burial grounds and remains have exposed deep conflicts over inheritance and representation. Yes, it does. And we are going to have to start, my lineage, my people are going to have to start taking this to the International Court in The Hague, because this is paper genocide. This is evil. Yeah, Marcus Garvey was an agent. He came here from Jamaica to get all of the foundational Black Americans that would be fooled into getting on a Black Star line and going to Liberia. This has been going on for a long time, and they keep doing it. But it's over. We have awakened to this right here. This is a crime. So they claim that there are remains of 419 men, women, and children uncovered when the site was excavated in 1991 and 1992. All were reburied with honor in the Rites of Ancestral Return ceremony in 2003. These remains were just a fraction of the burials in the African burial ground. If every burial were excavated, this wall of photos would wrap the entire gallery. So anybody who is questioning who's in the ground, do you see how many people are in the ground? They're saying that they haven't even excavated all of them, but they call it an African burial ground. You tell me how that does not make sense. And this really made me angry. I'm going to park it for now, because I am getting angrier by the moment when I read this and realize these people, they play these games. But that African American thing died with Jesse Jackson. By the way, Jesse Jackson had his status corrected as a Cherokee. And you could look at Jesse Jackson and see that he was indigenous. But he sold his people into an African American identity. So now we have, in 2003, Roy Horn. He was attacked by his tiger, but he said the tiger was trying to save him. And this happened on stage in front of people. And now I'm starting to wonder what was really going on. And this tiger tore his face up. I think he had a heart attack as a result. I don't know if those guys are still around, but now we have something that's really devious. We have Kobe Bryant. He was arrested in, I think, Colorado, having to do with a woman who claimed that he did some sexual weird stuff to her that she wasn't consenting to. I think when they tried to really get into the dirty details of this woman, if you could remember, I think they found semen from other men. It was nasty, but still, it was weird. So I don't know the details, but this really was a takedown, it seems, of Kobe. And it was interesting that it happened the same year that you have LeBron, Black Boule puppet, being drafted as the #1 draft pick that year. So the whole LeBron Kobe thing is very disturbing. Because when Kobe died in that helicopter crash 2020, right before they closed the world down with this whole COVID thing, we had Kobe's death. And LeBron played in Philadelphia, and I don't know, he played and it was weird. He played with the number, right? The Lakers played the 76ers. Like, that was so weird in Philadelphia, where Kobe's from. And LeBron is wearing his number, was it? Real weird. And then you could see LeBron with his Black Boule tattoo on his chest. And LeBron has been given the world. And now the bill is due. Because LeBron apparently can't retire. He wants to stay alive, is what he said. So, playing with the Black Boule, getting into this Greek culture, playing with these gods, these fallen angels, having sex parties. Ain't no party like a Diddy party, right? Then didn't he say that? Ain't no party like a Diddy party? This stuff, ultimately, it leads to ruin. None of them will have a legacy. None of them. Their legacy will be shame, because they rebelled against the Most High Yah. It doesn't turn out well. So you can bring all your Greek gods, and guess what? My God will destroy all your Greek gods. Period. I know it. It's not I believe it. I know it. And everybody is going to bow a knee and say out of their mouths that Jesus Christ is the Lord, to the glory of the Most High Yah, the Father. And I'm saying this right now because I'm watching each one of these people fall and be humiliated and mocked. They thought they had it made. They thought they were going to ride off into the sunset with ill-gotten gain and stolen honor. And what? A trail of dead friends that they gave up for sacrifices, friends and family, blood in, to get their ill-gotten material. That materialism is just what? Nothing in the end. Then we have Tyra Banks, who started America's Next Top Model in this year. And the irony is that she modeled for Victoria's Secrets. So we're talking about Les Wexner. You see all these connections here? Modeling. I was spared when I was a model, when I was in this industry. I was spared so many times from being caught up in something. I was protected so much. The 6 degrees of separation with this cabal is unnerving. Even Les Wexner. I realize, like, a connection to Les Wexner. Crazy. But I'm fascinated with Tyra Banks right now. You hear that she has a documentary or something out, and She is a fascinating woman. Apparently, she is not taking too well to being accountable to the mean girl practices from this show, this humiliation show. It was like a hazing ritual disguised as a beauty competition or a modeling competition. And now she's living in Australia and she has a business called Hot Ice Cream, is it? I think Hot Ice Cream. And she has an alter ego called Santa Smize, which she performs in nightclubs, I guess. Very, very fascinating. So we have Tyra Banks, America's Next Top Model. I'll talk about her again. She'll come back up. So we have the Curtis Institute of Music out of Philadelphia. I want you to take a look at the architecture, and we know this picture is from the 1800s. So Philadelphia is full of architecture that is amazing like this. So this is the Curtis Institute of Music. And in 2003, they gave an honorary degree to Nina Simone. And we know Nina Simone was an amazing singer, songwriter, pianist, just so talented. So they gave her an honorary degree. So this is how the Curtis Institute of Music looks in Philadelphia. If you're ever in Philadelphia, you might want to go look at it, but we can look at it from pictures. Can you imagine listening to a concert if Nina Simone was on this stage in this intimate setting with the beautiful mahogany wood? The acoustics are probably so amazing. I would love to hear something in this concert hall. In fact, I think about my stepmother. She used to play Moonlight Sonata for me whenever we would be around a piano in public. If it were free, nobody, she would get on the piano and play Moonlight Sonata. I loved it. It was, oh boy, amazing. So we have beautiful interior. And yeah, that would be a dream come true to hear Nina Simone play in such a beautiful space. So this is where I am done with this timeline. I didn't cover a lot from this year, but enough, okay? I didn't get a lot of the entertainment stuff. This is also the year that Bill Maher started the TV show that he did. What was it called? His TV show? I'll think of it. Real Time. It was Real Time with Bill Maher started. The Matrix Reloaded. The Matrix Revolutions came out. Kill Bill. Arrested Development, which I love that TV show. And we were dealing with shock and awe and the age of perpetual war and war, what is it? Bombs over Baghdad, literally. So I will come back and rewind another year, 2004, episode 40. Thank you for joining me on this rewind. Lots of interesting connections. If you find any that I missed, let me know, please. And I'll check your comments later, but I don't want to keep you too much longer. I really appreciate you coming to hang out and rewind this year. Okay. I'll see you soon. Take good care. Bye bye.